Welcome to the Insights podcast with me, Camilla, and you, Raza. Hello, Raza.
Hello, Camilla.
Mhm. How are you
How are
doing?
you today?
I'm good. I've been sick, but now I'm better. That's good. And how about you?
That's good. Yeah, I'm pretty good. It's nice Sunday and sun is shining. It's pretty good. So yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, me too. Good to talk to you again.
Yeah. So
I know that I've been a bit affected these days, and I think you've been affected as well, right?
yes,
So what's
so
going
much.
on? What's
Yeah,
going
I have been dreaming like so many vivid dreams, like crazy. It seems like all my fears and traumas just keep on hunting me at night. So, yep, we're having a full moon tonight.
on?
And basically, up to full moon, it just really builds up all the energy, and it really affects people. Now, some people believe that they've been affected, some not, but it does definitely affect me. As mentioned, you've been affected too. Have you been having as well some weird, vivid dreams?
Well, I always dream a lot, and I don't know why, because I know people who don't dream at all. But I always dream a lot. I haven't dreamt like crazy much these few days, but actually, normally I have hard time sleeping in full moon, and I don't know if that's just like an old rumor. Because I remember when I was a kid and I had difficulty sleeping, my mom was always like, maybe it's probably a full moon," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" Uh, but now as an adult, maybe it's because I decided that now when it's a full moon, I don't sleep that good. But at least I often sleep poorly during full moon.
Mm.
Do you recognize that?
No, actually, I feel because like when you go in more astrology stuff, and maybe someone of you know, so there's the whole chart. And for example, my moon is in the Cancer, it's like in the home mm,
Hmm?
kind of sign. So actually, full moon for me gives me more. Like I feel home when it's full moon.
Mm.
So I'm actually more, yeah, it affects me in the like positive way. Like it probably shows me where I should heal and what should I do and what kind of fears I need to clean up. But it's it's a good thing for me. Like
Mm.
but yeah, I sleep well. I just dream weirdly, and obviously, if I have some issues, they've been up to surface, saying like, "Hello,
Mm.
look at those. There's some kind of panic and anxiety going on. Look
Mm.
at them." So I guess in that way, and I feel very much connected to the moon, and I feel kind of safe and nice around it. Like I like when it's a full big moon. I go and look at it and like,
It's the most beautiful thing. I love looking at the moon.
yeah.
It feels so calm. Also, when it's not like full, I just whenever it's out and the sky is clear, I just think looking at the moon feels so calming.
Yeah, totally. And so beautiful yesterday. It was like so big and so beautiful, and the light is so bright. And ooh, but yeah, so full moon is as well important, knowing in which sign they are in. So full moon is when it's up, moon is opposite the sun. So sun at the moment is in the Aries, the first house, like the first sign of the horoscopes,
Mm.
and the full moon is in Libra. So areas that could be affected around this time, or where we could actually meditate about or think, or where we could get clarity, is actually relationships and us in the relationship. Because full moon in Libra, Libra is all about the relationships, or about marriages, partnerships, relationships like with other people, meaning like of course with yourself, but it's more like connection with others. And then the Aries is representing me, yourself, very individual sign. So that's why they're kind of opposite. Like
Mm.
Libra is more into relationship, and Aries is more into oneself. And that's where it comes that people who are very into Libra, they tend to be codependent. They're afraid to be alone. Yeah, they tend to be around the people, or like neglect their own needs to be with people, where Aries is more like my needs comes first, then everybody else. It's all about me.
Mm.
They having sometimes hard time letting people in because of that. So the full moon in Libra, Libra is like keeping the balance. So actually finding a balance of you being in relationship, how you meet your needs, how you being yourself, but as well being in relationship and being creating this relationship together. And it really shines this light on relationships and yeah, how you're treating, how you being, how to be oneself in relationship, how to like really still be authentic yourself.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that's all about it. And my rising sign is Libra.
Ah.
So for me is definitely is a very moon that affects me because it's in Libra and I'm definitely very affected. I was a very into relationship person and I tend to overgive myself. I used to tend to be codependent and that's why these dreams and things like kind of showing me how I should stand for myself or how to be still myself and be in relationship. So it's really transforming and healing for me. That's why I'm having nightmares, headaches, because I have this resistance in me. Because you know, when there's a change, it afraid, resist. So for me, yeah, this full moon is very powerful personally. So I definitely feel it. But I guess there are people out there who would feel it similar.
So you're Aries. That's right.
No, I'm Taurus
Are you
in
Taurus?
sun sign. Yeah, I'm Taurus in sun sign,
Mm.
but my rising sign is Libra.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, and the rising signs is usually those that shows like people paths. They usually say that's what is the aim of the person when they come to this planet. That's the rising sign defines them.
Okay.
And you are
I'm
Leo,
Leo.
you are
Leo in,
Virgo and sun sign.
I'm Leo in sun sign.
Leo.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. But I just want to put in a quick note for maybe listeners who's not that into astrology, because now we get
Yeah.
really deep. Um, because obviously, as like I loved your explanation right now, and you really know a lot about this, and you also I know that you look into stuff when you feel weird, right? Or as you feel things are happening. You look into stuff. So I believe in these things as well. I'm not that deep into it as you are, but I'm definitely into the stars and the signs. And then sometimes when I've been talking to friends and family about this topic, they've been like, "Now, why should this be true?" And the only like argument, the argument that has just completely resonated with me, and the reason I'm sure this is has something to do with the way we feel, and like the only argument I have ever given them for believing in this is the moon controls our oceans, right?
Yeah.
So the tide is controlled by the moon. So the moon moves our oceans from one to the other side. And as human beings, we are what, 90% water?
Yeah. Or 70, something like
Yeah,
that.
a lot, at least
Yeah.
more than 50,
Yeah.
right? So like we are so much, like we
Yeah.
consist of so much water, and the moon is obviously controlling the water, or how to put it. Then why is the moon not controlling us as well as the oceans in this world? So that's why I'm sure that these things have something to do with all of us, no matter if we believe in it or not. But I definitely think that if we are open to these ideas, we can find some answers like you are really good at. So finding the answers to why am I dreaming like crazy right now? Why am I sleeping poorly or
Yeah.
things like that? So
Yeah, true.
yeah.
Yeah, true. And I mean, the science, like, actually, I'm very into science too. So apparently, the scientists say that the moon does not affect us that much because we have so much little water in us that actually the gravity could not. But I think maybe we just don't know yet how it affects us. If we can't measure, it doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Because when you look at the older civilizations or like where us come from, like we lived according to the sun and moon cycles.
Mm,
Even we planned, like now we go to the shops and buy all the goods. But before that, we were seeding and growing our own vegetables, and they've been planted accordingly to the moon. And it was very important to have this equinox as we had, like start of the spring. We're so much together with nature, and moon really had influence on that one. Even like the Christian celebration is Easter, it always happens 1 week after full moon. So this week, this Sunday is full moon, so that's why we have Easter next weekend. So it's first full moon after the equinox.
mm,
So I think it's all related with it, and even the scientific sometimes can't show that true, but if we try to live a little bit with the nature, like with the moon, sun, so actually you can benefit a lot
mm,
of it, even if it's not everything is true, but you can try to find your way balance with the nature. I
mm.
think that's important to go back
Absolutely.
to our roots.
And how did you get into it? Like, did you get it from your parents or did you figure it out on your own?
Actually, very good question. I think we've been a lot with the nature because we're always having gardens, but we never actually talked about moon that much. But I guess Lithuanians in general are more into this nature stuff, with the last ones being baptized in Europe. So we still have this touch to nature. And personally, I think I found it more when I was in Bali. I was in Bali with a friend, and then the volcano erupted. That was in 2017 when the volcano erupted, if you remember. That was a big thing that the whole Bali island was closed. So we got stuck there. And then from being stuck there, can't leave, and there's a volcano eruption, and you're kind of freaking out. We started to go to every lecture. There was some on the, like, there was yoga studio, and they
Mhm.
had some lectures in the evenings. It's like you just go to every to kind of refresh your mind. And that's how I got into this astrology. I said I met people, they knew so much. I didn't know my rising sign. I didn't know anything. I was like, wow, what is that? What is that? And then slowly kind of was like, okay, it's important to know your chart. And then I started like looking into it, getting the astrologer to look at my chart and explaining, and then it explained so many things about me and why I was doing things the way I was doing it. So it really helped me to clarify what my values are actually.
Mhm.
Then I knew myself. Yeah. And how did you started liking the astrology?
I think for me it started like I told about in the first episode last time, about 3 years ago when I realized that something was off with me and with my life. So I basically just started looking. Back then, I just started searching, looking for answers in everything. And that really brought me around different stuff.
Yeah.
And this is just one of the things when I got a bit into it. I really like the way that, well, you can do that with almost everything, but I like the way to you can get into it, you can read about it if you're interested, and you can just take whatever you
Yeah.
need and then leave the rest. So you don't need to be a crazy moon person, like woo, nothing, not at all.
Yeah.
Just knowing your sign, at least looking into my sign. So what I knew 3 years ago was only that I was a Leo in sun sign.
Yeah.
That was it. But then I started looking into, yeah, as you mentioned, the moon and the opposite sign and stuff, and that it just interested me because every time I read more about exactly how my sign is constructed, I learned more. I learned like things started making sense about myself.
Yeah.
So I experienced that I really use this information to understand. Okay, I am. I can remember all of the names of the signs, but as a typical Leo, for people who don't know, is like often like a performer. So a person who's really outgoing, talking a lot. Look at me performing on stage. It's often like singers and performers and actresses and actors. And I never related myself that way. I'm not yelling. I'm not that loud. At least I don't think myself that way. And that's what I hear from other people as well. They're like they often consider me as a bit quiet actually. So, but then, so I never really got this about the Leo. But then when I saw the constructions of the signs, I have a lot of this on the signs that are more inward and more quiet and more thinking and more like searching. Also,
Yeah.
like searching. Some people and some signs are more searching for purpose and searching for meaning than others. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so so things just made sense to me, and then it got to a point where I had a professional astrologist doing my horoscope and walking it through with me, and that gave me a lot of insights as well. And it's like I think from there I was happy with that knowledge, and then I don't search so much more about it. I look into it when I feel weird. I'm like, what's going on with the stars? Or, oh, the full moon is out, stuff like that. So now I just really use it for whatever, for what I know about it to be true right now. And yeah, does it make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. And as I can hear it help you kind of create your more identity, like understand yourself better actually, but just reading it and maybe, something really matches and understanding your strength and weakness. And
Yeah,
that's really good.
exactly.
Yeah. And we wanted to talk today about the goals, kind of,
Yeah,
and aims and values we have, which is kind of probably comes of those who we are, and what kind of, like, if you believe in horoscopes or what kind of where you come from, etc. Kind of still could define you a bit, or you can identify yourself, and then your kind of values comes, or what you put priority, and how you go with the goals. And then maybe you could tell me how it's going with the goal setting for you. Do you
yeah.
set the goals? How do you do it? And
Do set
how
goals for
does,
myself. Also, I just want to mention that the moon cycle is also
yeah.
good to use as like a cycle of doing things. So now it's a full
Yes.
moon. Now we have a great opportunity to kind of start over. So here we go again. Try something for the next cycle and let's see how it goes. Um, yeah, the way I work with goals in my life is I work in the way that I have huge goals, so like life goals and career goals, and then I have smaller goals that's more like on a weekly or monthly basis. So let me say a bit about both. So I have this small book. It's called a dream book, and in it I've been like thoroughly writing out what exactly is my goal. Why do I want to attain it? Like, what would that bring to me? What would that give me? How does it look? So going really into like how does it feel to achieve this goal? And then also I put a date on when I want to achieve it. And so I can give you an example. So one of my larger goals is that I've started my own company. And of course I have this aspiration for my own company to become a success and to affect the most people possible. And I've been writing all of this down, and then I've also actually wrote out how I can see that I've achieved it. So
Yeah.
what is the measure for me to achieve it? So, and then also how am I going to celebrate it when it has been achieved? So it's like the full cycle, because we
Yeah.
need to also finish the job and then celebrate the job done. So that helps me, and I love to like just write down all of these dreams and how it makes me feel, and already now connect with the feeling I want to have in the future.
Yeah.
Because just putting yourself into that state of mind of how do I want to feel, it already puts me there, and then it makes
Yeah.
it easier for me to go there. And then on a daily or a weekly and a monthly basis, I actually have an old school calendar, I could call it. For a lot, like the recent years, I've been digitalizing everything. Also, because I'm from the IT industry and I love digitalization. I hate paper. I hate everything on paper except for books, right? But I had to reintroduce this paper calendar into my life, and it has a monthly overview. So going into every month, I'm stating out. So what did I achieve last month? What do I want to focus on this month, and what are my goals for this month? And then I have 30 days to work on them, and then there's a calendar for every day, like and every week. And actually, there's also for every week intentions. So what do you want to do this week? What are your intentions? How do you need to be to do this? And then also about what to be grateful of. And then at the end of the week, I again evaluate. So did I do what I intended to do? And what do I want to keep working with next week? So it's
That sounds
quite
good.
quite
Yeah, does it work? Yeah, quite practical. Does it work? Like, do you achieve all your goals? And like, what is the percentage of the goals you actually achieve? Is like, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because what I've learned also is that goals can easily be like, I want to earn 10,000 this month, for example. Whatever, it's just an example, right? But I've been moving more and more towards like my goals are to feel it a specific way. So I want to create something, or I want to feel something on Friday evening. So on Friday evening, I want to feel happy. I want to feel proud. I want to feel like good about what I've done. I want to feel progress. I want to feel these things, for example, within the frames of my company, to be happy. And then I work all week to make sure that on Friday I can feel content and proud and happy and yeah, does it make sense? So it's
Yeah, it does. So did you feel, what about this Friday? Did you feel it that you achieved
I
what?
did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. And if I don't, I investigate why didn't I? What was
Mm,
off? And then I try to correct it. And
yeah.
it's not no big deal because things change. As you know, the cycle, sometimes
Yeah.
it goes well and sometimes it doesn't go well. And I'm also trying to just remember that there's no failure, there's only learning. So every
Yeah.
time thing doesn't work out, there's something there I need to learn and then need to work with.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely.
So I have a very practical approach, I think, to these goals and dreams. So tell us
That's
about,
good.
about you. Like, how do you do it?
Um, I actually have this bigger dreams or bigger goals that I planned, like, or I wish them to achieve. But and then some smaller ones. But in the meantime, I don't have like a sequence how to achieve them. I kind of let spontaneously for them like to happen. I work towards them. I have the bigger goal, but I don't really matter if I take this road or that road or what road leads me. So I think I'm more flexible with that, which is could be as well a bit a negative thing because sometimes having a bit more planned goal achieving actually leads you to success more. So I think I'm here a bit more kind of thinker of like free thinker. But yeah, I think in general, I don't plan much. I plan, of course, I plan when I have things planned and I plan the week, but I don't plan like month too much. But I'm more like setting the intentions. Like probably what's more would be more for the woman. I actually start living into the woman cycle and the moon cycle. So it's very similar. Like the moon has phases, woman cycle has phases. So I really noticed that for me personally, it's better to have this monthly routine in a way, like in the new moon or like my first days of cycles. I plan what I want to do, then I go out. And then in the second half, I'm retrieving back to myself and reflecting. And I think that gave me, I'm still like trying it. I think it's maybe half a year when I'm doing this. So it's like 6 times. So it really helps me to use my energy better. Uh, and it works. Before that, I think I was sometimes over push it to myself because like I'm in the second part of the cycle. I don't actually want to plan. I just want to like do something, execute, but like I don't feel open to plan.
Mm.
So yeah, so I think that's how I set my goals, and I leave as well a lot of open space. I'm very much open for opportunities that comes my way. I kind of believe that things happen for the reason, and if something doesn't happen, then maybe that's how it should be. But it took me a long time because I used to regret a lot the goals that I haven't achieved. It used to be really hard for me to let go of them. So now I think I'm more like, okay, relax. Maybe you didn't achieve that goal, but you achieved some other goal that probably you haven't even thought about it. Like you learned something. As you said, there are no mistakes, just learnings. So I think that's something that really helped. And dreaming, I think, is super important. Like dreaming when you sleep and dreaming about the dreams that you that you want to have. Yeah.
So I would love to put a coaching perspective on this one because yeah.
Go for it.
So yeah, as you know, I'm a coach and I work I work primarily with women right now about their careers, and primarily women who don't really know what they want to do in their careers. So in coaching is really important. We always start with the goal. So what is the goal we're working towards? Because we're working about right now and about the future. So we want to move you from where you are now to the place you want to be. Either because the place you want to be is really really a good place and you just want to go there and you have this dream and you want to achieve that, or because you right now are in a bad state and you want to get out of that state, so you want to come to a good state instead. And we always start with goal setting because or defining the goal. So what are we working towards right now? Because the way when we become able of saying, like actually saying out loud, what do we want and how does that look and how does that make us feel and how does that feel in the body. So just getting all of the sensors up and running, so both your mind, so imagining how does it look, what would that bring to me of joy and happiness, and where's that emotion located. So what do you feel? I feel happy, I feel yeah, release or whatever. And then the body, so my shoulders are relaxed when I tell about this, and this ache in my heart or in my stomach disappears, and really connecting with what it is that we want.
Yeah.
Because if we don't connect with it on all of these levels, then we are not actually aware of what it is that we want. And when we have connected with what we really want, it is so much easier to get it.
Yeah.
And that's also when we often realize that what I want is not a big house. So maybe people come to me and say, like, yeah, I want to achieve this. I want to be a millionaire. I want a big house. But at the end of the day, what that really is about feeling fulfilled, feeling like a success, feeling happy, feeling like things are coming my way, and feeling abundant.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways to feel those feelings without being a millionaire, without
Yeah.
having a huge house. And when people realize that it's a feeling, that our goals are primarily
Yeah.
actually pointed towards feelings,
Yeah.
that's such a new world and a release to a lot of people. So that's
Yeah.
why in coaching we always work or start out with tell me about the goal. And then of course we work towards that goal. What I'm interested in as well, and actually, Raza, I don't know if you know about this, so let's talk about the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want?
Yeah, I know a bit. Yeah, of course. I read a lot of books. I think it was The Secret as well. The movie was on the like very popular, I think, yeah, 10 years ago or something.
Yeah. Okay. So not that that's a part of coaching because it's not,
Yeah,
but this is
yeah,
my take on it, and I find the law of attraction really good to rely on sometimes. So basically, what it states is that when you can define what you want and you say it out loud, then you will achieve it.
yeah,
And the practical things behind it, not because you're just going to get whatever you want. That's not the point. The point is that when you get yourself into the state and realize what I want and feel like deep inside, this is why I want it because I can feel that this will bring me so much happiness and I want this happiness, then you will automatically do whatever it takes to get you there.
yeah,
But it requires that you are able to say it out loud, or at least you can say it to yourself in your head, but you need to be able to explain it and say what I really want from this life, for example, is to find a boyfriend, or what I want is to find a good apartment, or I want my dream job now, I'm ready for the dream job. And then we need to define, okay, how does that look? um, and
yeah.
then we will like, then it's, you cannot not achieve it because you
Yes,
already,
yes.
you put the energy out in the
Yeah,
world
you
that
already
you
know
want
that.
to
Yeah,
attract.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I noticed that for me it was very hard to actually change. I knew what I don't want. I could clearly say, and I used to say, when people ask me what I want, I usually say, I don't want this and this and that. And that came from my family pattern or like cultural pattern, that we just couldn't afford what we want. So it's like, okay, I just don't want that, like the worst things I just don't want, but then the rest is fine. And for me, it was such a shift when I started thinking what I want, because it's a different energy when you think what you don't want and when you think what you want.
Mm.
And this is sometimes harder for people to define because it gives you this freedom. It gives you a responsibility as well, autonomy, because then you're responsible for your own happiness and your own life choices because you say what you want. And sometimes people freak out of this responsibility and this power that they get, and then they, oh no, 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 I don't want that. But it's hard, and sometimes there's resistance. At least there was a resistance in my body, like, oh, like what I want, I don't know what I want. And yeah, so I think we need to train ourselves. And that's good that you do in coaching, train to think what we want, more what we want in our lives. And then we can attract it, obviously.
Yeah,
Everything is frequency. It works.
I can like 100% tell you that everybody who comes to me for coaching, they start telling me all about what they don't want.
Yeah,
And they're very clear that it's very specific what they don't want, and I don't
yeah,
want that and I don't want that, but
yeah,
nobody, they can't tell me what they want.
yeah,
And the hardest question, I ask them a lot of questions, but I experienced that the hardest question for people to ask or to answer when we get into this is, then I'm like, okay, so everything is possible. Now you can just dream. Now we're just dreaming, brainstorming. Everything is possible in this world. What do you want to do? Tell me
yeah,
about that. And people are like, I
yeah.
can't. And then often, most often, the answer is, I can't answer that because I don't know. And that breaks my heart, truly. That we don't know what, like, if
Yeah,
everything was possible in this world, we don't even think about it and we don't ask each other those
yeah,
questions because
yeah,
we limit ourselves so much in a way that, to protect ourselves, of course.
yeah,
I've been there, I've done this a lot. And I know that when I was doing this and when I worked in the corporate world, I didn't have a goal either. And the reason I didn't have a goal, because I knew I didn't have one. But honestly, I didn't create one because I was scared that I wouldn't achieve it and that would be embarrassing.
yeah,
And I didn't want to be embarrassed. I wanted to look like I had everything under control. I wanted to look successful. And the best way to look successful was like achieving things I didn't imagine I wanted to achieve, because then it
Yeah.
was like on top of things. But in
Yeah.
reality, that drove me really.
Yeah. We always tend to be afraid to look vulnerable, like to other people. And yes, I think the whole, like maybe the system that we live in, it's a lot of laws, a lot of things that you don't do. And I don't know, I sometimes take as an example, hopefully I won't offend anyone, more of the religions. And I'm like, from Christianity comes, and there is 10 God laws, and they all say what you should not do, but they don't say what you should do. So yeah, of course, if you don't do all those things, then your life will be good. Like you should live the way that you don't need to do those things. But in a way, it doesn't teach you how to live. It just shows you what not to. And I guess that comes as well from our subconscious, that we just, okay, we don't do that, we don't want that. And then this one tick doesn't come. And if you say law of attraction, the funny thing, apparently the universe doesn't different if it's do or don't. So if you say don't want this, usually you're gonna get that. Because they don't difference what do you have on your mind. So you have to actually have these positive things that you want, so then you can attract those.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it becomes this prophecy, right? That's so, yeah, I can't remember
Yes,
the word,
yes,
but then
yes.
it's just a downward cycle. 'Cause then you get
Yeah,
everything you don't want.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, probably I would wish everybody to really think what you want. And if it's possible, every day, wake up or go to sleep and think what you want. If not, then maybe when you just remember, just think of what you want. And every time you need to make a decision or you need to buy something, just don't think what you can afford it, what you cannot afford it, but just think about what you would like to. What would you want? And then you can adjust and execute in a different way, but more expand your consciousness and expand your thinking. So you send the message to the universe world, like, okay, I'm ready. I
Mm.
know what I want. And start small and just want.
I think that's a great point. Practice for like a practice that you could do every morning is when you wake up, think about what is it you want today, or how do you want to feel.
Yeah,
So when I wake up in the morning, I think like I want to be content when I finish today, like with whatever I've done. And then the second thing that's also really important is, okay, so what does it take for me to get there?
yeah,
So things that I don't tell the universe I want to be happy, and then I go on like nothing happens. I need to take responsibility for then. Okay, so what
yeah,
does it require of me to be happy today?
yeah,
Okay, it
yeah,
takes a lot of work in my company to be content,
mm,
maybe, and then
yeah,
that's what I need to go do.
yeah. That's so true.
Mhm.
So I guess we will finish this podcast
Yeah,
on the goals and dreams and a bit of the full moon. And we have many more topics to go. So stay tuned with us. And yeah, if you have any questions or want to talk or discuss, just reach out to us and we're happy to answer your questions.
absolutely, absolutely. So happy full moon.
Happy full moon.
What are you gonna do today, tomorrow? Anything specific to celebrate?
um, Probably some rituals. I'm probably gonna go walk in the nature because that connects me well. I actually took the bath, which is actually for me as well a ritual. So I guess gonna be I'll try to mm, please myself. I don't know if you can express that in English, but like give a lot of pleasure to myself around this because for me it's very powerful personally. So I feel this energy going. So I need to be gentle with myself. And for everybody, I would suggest you have your own full moon ritual. Drink a tea, go for a walk, watch the moon, like do something. It's a beautiful thing. It's a part of nature. Like you enjoy the sun, you enjoy the rain, enjoy the moon. And you, do you have any specific rituals you
I,
do?
I don't have specific rituals, but I can tell you that I'm gonna do self care as well.
Mhm.
So resting, relaxing, getting ready for this new cycle, It's gonna be amazing as well, and there's gonna be a lot of good things happening. So I just want to be energized and be ready mentally and physically to start again. And that's
Yes.
at least what I'm gonna do today. So take a
Sounds
good
so
care of yourself.
good.
Yeah,
So yeah, happy full moon, everybody. Take
yeah,
care of yourself, dream, set goals, and take responsibility and achieve
and,
them.
and dream big, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so good to talk to you, Raza.
Same.
Talk to you next
Bye
time.
bye, guys.
Bye.
Yes. Bye.